Hey everybody, my name is Jeff from eBay Addicts, and today I have a special guest with me. Justin, Coach Commerce is here. How are you doing today, Justin?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me, Jeff.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So today's title of our video is going to be how Coach Commerce was featured on the Dave Ramsey show. So if you guys don't know, my man Justin here, he at one time he was a school teacher and he started reselling on the side, and then slowly over a period of time he worked, got out of debt, paid off. I'm sure you paid off your credit card, paid off your car, paid off your house, and he was able to kind of work some magic and got to the point where he was able to leave his full-time job as a school teacher to kind of now be a full-time reseller. So that's what we're going to talk about. So tell us a little bit about your journey, man. First of all, go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience. Tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Sure. Thank you very much, Jeff. I appreciate it. And before I get started about myself, I just want to say thank you to you for having me on your show. I love your channel and I love everything that you're doing with it. I've been selling on eBay for about 10 years now. And back when I started 10 years ago, there was no community like this. You know, it was back in the early days of YouTube and Instagram. I don't think it even existed. There maybe it was Facebook, but there were no groups, So it was really hard to kind of learn how to get going on eBay. And finding your channel is really awesome. And I love what you're doing with interviewing other sellers. So thank you so much for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. A little bit about myself. My name is Justin, and I go by Coach Commerce on YouTube. And the purpose of my channel is just to try to help other people learn, how to sell specifically on eBay. Like you said, I did quit my job last May as a elementary school teacher. And, that kind of left a gap in my heart. I'm a teacher still at heart. And I thought that I could, start a channel to try to help other people that are maybe beginner sellers or have been selling, for a while, learn how to get better and grow as an eBay seller. So I started off, like I said, 10 years ago, kind of found eBay by accident, honestly. My wife and I had just gotten married. And, when we both moved in together, we got pregnant on our honeymoon, and, 9 months, I knew that we were going to be having a baby boy. And right away, that kind of lit a fire under me because, everything that we had that we brought from our two houses together, all ended up in what was going to be the nursery. So I'm like, I got to get rid of all this stuff. I don't know what to do with it, but I know some of the stuff I have might be worth something, so both of us got together and we decided upon having a garage sale, just like kind of like what a lot of people do to get rid of their stuff. And we broke our backs. We worked really hard that weekend trying to sell everything. It took our entire weekend, lots of hours prepping for it, and then, having it. And to be honest, it ended up being kind of a flop. Nothing happened really. I mean, we maybe made $100 or $200, but really it didn't warrant the work I felt that, was put into it. And I still had all of this stuff, I had everything that didn't sell of hers and mine. And I'm like, well, I could donate it or give it to people that are in need. But, there's still a lot of stuff here that I know I paid good money for that I wish I could recoup back. So then, enter in eBay, after kind of looking online, and figuring out that I could maybe sell this stuff online. I jumped on eBay and I just threw one thing up. And ironically, at the time that I listed it, it was an Xbox 360. And I think it was like the most sold item that year. It was something that was like, specifically, great for eBay. And it did really well. It ended up, I put it at auction. I didn't know anything about selling, put it at auction, and ended up selling for more than what I even purchased it for. And, I was on top of the moon. I played this thing for like a year or so, and then it sells for more. I'm like, this is the greatest thing in the entire world, Long story short, I ended up putting everything that we couldn't sell at the garage sale up on eBay. And over a period of a couple of months, everything sold. And on top of that, like any eBay seller would know, that it sold for, $2,000 to $3,000. And I couldn't even give this stuff away to garage sale. So that, right away kind of lit a fire under me. I had nothing left. I had nothing still to sell, but I knew that I wanted to keep selling on eBay. So, then I started looking everywhere, like, going to other garage sales, going to flea markets, estate sales, anything that a reseller, that his experience would know. I started going on the secondary market and finding things that I could, flip, buy cheap and then flip for more profit on eBay. And it started off kind of as a hobby and just grew it slowly. And over time, studied and learned and grew as a seller and as a person. And, never would have known, but 10 years later, it, is now my livelihood. So that's kind of the abbreviated version of where I am now, 10 years after being an eBay seller.
Okay, now I wanted to get into this because that's the title of our video is about you being on the Dave Ramsey show. So tell me about your experience of calling into the Dave Ramsey show and tell people what I want people to understand is I tell people a little bit about your journey of how you were able to get out of debt. Because when you tell somebody, hey, I paid off my house and it was like a $300,000 house and it's paid in full and you no longer going to have a rent or a mortgage payment the rest of your life, that's like, it's mind blowing, you know, and especially you were able to do that while still working your full time job and then still reselling on the side. So tell people a little bit about what your journey was like, getting out of debt, and then tell people what was like for you being featured on the Dave Ramsey Show, guys. I have the link listed down below. I can't play the video for copyright reasons, but if you guys want to check out the video, I did track it down and have a link down below.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff, for asking about that. I don't mind sharing anything about that. On my YouTube channel, I have kind of kept my personal finances not completely secret or guarded. I'm open with my earnings. But in terms of where I've come from, I think I have linked, like you said, on my channel as well to that video. But I'm a huge Dave Ramsey fan. For your listeners or your viewers that maybe aren't familiar with Dave Ramsey, he's kind of a financial coach or a huge financial figure in the personal finance world. He hosts a national radio show, and he has written many New York Times best-selling books. He's a really big guy, kind of one of the biggest figures. I think maybe Susie Orman or a couple of other finance figures are up there, but he's one of the greats. And kind of stumbled upon him actually right around the same time when we started, when my wife and I got married 10 years ago. Everything kind of all happened at once. But found out about him through my church. He's very heavily involved in a lot of churches, and his business he considers a ministry and an outreach to people. And found his program, his big program called Financial Peace University, through my church. My wife and I took the program, and in there, he teaches a lot of personal finance stuff that he calls the baby steps. And, it starts off with, baby step one, getting $1,000 emergency fund, then, working the debt snowball, and then on up from there, kind of different levels to, achieving personal independence in your finances. So when we found Dave Ramsey as well, my wife and I at the time I think when we added everything up, we were around $90,000 in personal debt. And that wasn't even including our mortgage. So, like I said earlier, when I discovered eBay, that it can be an additional income stream, that lit another fire under me to try to, boost our earnings and our income up to help pay off our debt and try to knock out some bigger financial goals that my wife and I, had made, down the road. We're big planners, we're big goal setters, and we really like to try to plan, for our future. We've got 3 little boys and all under the age of 8. And, we want to try to provide for them the best we can. And in finding that program, we thought, here's something that maybe isn't easy, but it's something that if we stick to it and follow it, it's worked for millions of people. And this, it's made Dave Ramsey a household name. Obviously his program works, right? So we started following it, and we paid off all of our debts, through eBay. My wife also had a full-time job. She is a graduate of Oklahoma State University, and she worked in sports technology. So with her income, my income teaching, and then obviously what eBay brought to the table, we were able to kind of roll through our consumer debt, credit cards, student loan debt, auto loans, all of that stuff in about a little under 2 years. Which is, pretty crazy. I felt very blessed that we were able to do that. But, we had a goal and we were just moving forward toward it. And that was also, I kind of think what pushed, me becoming better at eBay so much far forward, because I really was trying to just knock and churn out that debt. And obviously, once we knocked that out, what do we do then? We start working the rest of his baby steps. And, baby step 4 is, obviously paying off your house or paying it off as early as you can, so you can then start investing into other things and investing into your future. So we started doing that, and according to his statistics on his radio show and in his books, the average person that follows his program typically pays off their house in 7 to 9 years. So it's not anything immediate. Obviously you're encouraged to pay off your consumer debt first, or else you don't have that extra income to apply to that. But once we knocked out all of our consumer debt, that obviously was a lot more easy to do. We were starting to take all of our income and then rolling it into paying off our mortgage. And likewise, 7 years later, we paid off our mortgage on our house. And I never, it got to the point with eBay where my eBay income grew past my income as a teacher. And I really started to struggle. Here I've got this degree that I went to college for. I've got a bachelor's degree in education. And I never, when I was in school and began teaching, never ever dreamed that it would get to the point where I would now be, in this position financially. And it was kind of getting a little bit challenging, juggling, keeping both balls in the air between my career and my hobby that became a business with eBay. And long story short, last May, once we had our house paid off, all of our debt paid off, and really kind of mitigated any financial risk with the business, I took the leap in the big step in faith to pursue eBay full time as my full time income. So that's
Yeah.
kind of where I got with following Dave Ramsey's program. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer.
Yeah, and so what I wanted to bring up is a couple of things. Is if I was in your shoes and I was married and had 3 kids, I would be apprehensive of leaving my job as well because like we have health insurance, we have
Right.
benefits, I have a steady paycheck coming in every week. Do I
Yep.
really want to leave this for a job where I'm paid on commission only and just
Right.
cross our fingers and hope everything goes well? Guys, I don't know if Justin told you the complete backstory, but he was able to leave his job as a school teacher. His wife able to turn her notice in, so she no longer has to work a job anymore. And
Mhm.
both you guys, I guess, are now essentially full-time resellers, all
Right.
through reselling on eBay. So if you guys are in a similar situation and you're like, man, I'm in, $80,000, $90,000 in debt, or we have this $300,000 mortgage, and I think the French term for mortgage is death note. So very rarely do people actually work their tail off and get their house and car paid off and be able to pay their student loans and credit card bills. And so this guy's living proof. He's able to go through it step by step by step, following this program. Not only was he able to get out of debt, but he was able to basically retire early from his job, retired his wife from her job, and now you have free time to spend time and actually be around to take your kids to t-ball games and be around to watch your kids grow up and take them trick-or-treating and watch them grow up and actually sit down and have dinner with your family instead of saying, hey, I've got to work, a 10, 12-hour shift. Sorry, I can't come to your baseball game. So I'm happy for you, man.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the compliment. And like I said, I'm happy to share that with people. It's part of my story, my testimony. But what I do like to tell people also kind of is a disclaimer. I didn't do anything illegal, obviously, to get where I am, but it was all just a lot of hard work. I didn't come from a background in business. Everything I learned on eBay, I taught myself. And I'm not saying that to boast or to be proud, but I'm just saying that if you have anybody listening on the show right now that is maybe new at selling online or wanting to learn, that it's definitely possible. I have a degree in elementary school education. I knew nothing about reselling. I don't even have a family member in business. It's just something that, like I said, started off as a hobby. If you put the time and you put the work in and you're willing to learn and grow personally, and work hard at it, it definitely is possible. I don't feel like I've got, a special set of skills that anybody couldn't get. I mean, this is something that I even tell my students, that in middle, even in high school, this doesn't even require a college or a high school diploma. Anybody that is, savvy with technology, knows how to work a computer and can read, really can do this type of stuff. It just takes time. With YouTube, it being such a great resource, you can jump on and watch videos from the community that you're interviewing and learn from all of these other wonderful resellers that are out there.
Yeah, for sure. When he called into the Dave Ramsey show, Dave Ramsey called you a rock star for being able to get your house paid off early. So, if you guys are willing to follow a program and you're willing to put the work in, it's possible that you can get out of debt and you can pay your house off. You can pay your credit card bills off and, you can retire early or become a full-time reseller if that's what you want to do and spend more time with your family. Anyways, we're going to try to keep this video between 10 to 15 minutes. So go ahead and tell everybody where they can check you out at on YouTube and Instagram so they go by and follow you. I'll have all the links are going to be listed down below in the description.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Jeff. I go by Coach Commerce on both YouTube and Instagram. If you search for Coach Commerce, you should be able to find my channels. I've been on YouTube for about a year now. I think I have around 60 or so videos up. And like I said, a lot of them are eBay help videos. When you're getting out starting or when you're starting out on eBay, videos that I think would probably help you if you're newer. I also do a lot of vlogs as well. When I'm outsourcing, whether it's thrift stores or flea markets, I'm kind of taking you with me with a body cam, out into the wild, as I call it. Kind of teaching people how to get that eye for finding things that are cheap and then, flipping it for more. So that's, my YouTube channel. And like I said, you can also find me at Coach Commerce on Instagram as well.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, go ahead and follow our guests, guys. All the links are going to be down below. And until next time, we'll see you guys in the next video. You guys have a great day. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.